Welcome to Jerking Around, a podcast that makes you feel better about yourself because we're a mess just like you.
And Crystal makes fun of me the whole time.
And it's great, and it's real. Today, jerking around. Let's talk about some celebrity gossip. So, Tisha still mourning about Liam Payne. It's very...
I loved One Direction.
Did you get on his Snapchat at all?
No.
Oh, I did. Because they were like, he Snapchatted like 5 minutes before he died.
What was it?
With his girlfriend.
Yeah. No, did I send you the thing though? Did you read the thing that I sent you?
I don't remember. You've been sending so many things.
I know. It was a deep dive.
I can't read all those things because I can't read that.
Sometimes
good.
I come out and I'm like, what's going on in the world? I don't even know what's up, what's down. No, so it was the 911 call from the hotel person calling 911, and it's in whatever country he was in. And so he's saying, hey, I'm calling 911 operator. This person is destroying the hotel room. He's on drugs and alcohol. He's erratic. I'm worried he's going to hurt himself and jump out the window. And so she says, okay. He goes, so we need the medical team. And she says, okay, I'm sending the police. And he goes, oh, no, you don't need to send the police, just the medical team. And she's like, no, I need to send the police if he's on drugs and alcohol because, like, the medical team won't enter without like protection because he's being erratic. And he's saying he was smashing things and freaking out. But then why does he want the medical team if nothing had happened yet? That was supposedly prior.
So what do you think happened?
So I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird.
No, tell what you really think. You told me on the phone what you thought happened.
What did I say?
You said you thought he already jumped or they killed him.
Yes, exactly.
And
then they need to cover up, so they make that call. Oh, but don't send the police. If someone's banging things in a hotel, you're not sending the medical team. What are they going to do?
Super weird. And I did listen to the 911 call, and I did think it was weird that they thought he was going to jump. Because like,
how do you know that?
Because it was before I knew that's how he died, and I was just listening to the 911 call.
Yeah.
And I thought like he overdosed, and I was like, why is he like so worried about it? And then when he said jump, I'm like, he wouldn't do that. Lo and behold, that's how he died. But then they said there's, the conspiracies, which we like to talk about, that maybe he was.
Yeah. Was he doing this before?
I haven't heard that.
I don't think so. It could have
He did say he was at a P. Diddy party. Have you seen that?
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. And he
could have really just jumped though, but I just think it's weird. And then like there's so many things that they don't release. And then when they do release things, it sometimes makes me suspicious because they're very choosy with what they release.
Yeah. It is. Not saying what I was going to say.
Releasing?
Yeah. But do you think he did tell someone that being in a boy band ruined his life?
Well, yeah.
Do you think that's true?
Yes. It ruins everyone's life.
Right.
That's why if one of my kids wanted to be famous, I'd be like, no.
Yeah. I'm not being dumb, but people ask me if Hudson should model. Like, I'm not saying she's gorgeous, but it does come up a lot because she's a redhead and she's tall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way. I would never want her to model. It's awful. It's an awful industry.
The whole industry is awful.
Yeah. Do you think that everyone that makes it to the top has done really... Have you seen the Kardashians with P. Diddy and all of that? And then did you see Kris Jenner's worried because her show's tanking? So she has to cut Corey...
What show?
The Kardashians. So clearly you haven't been watching.
No, I thought she had her own separate show. Remember when she had her own show, though?
That was horrible.
Yeah, it was like...
Have you seen her? I think she's on Ozempic. She looks real skinny.
They're all so skinny.
No, but Kris wasn't before, and now she is.
Yeah, she is.
She got on the train late?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. But, do you think that they did things? Khloe went with P. Diddy at 16. Did you see that?
This is the thing. Right now, P. Diddy's out. I can't believe this is going on. This goes on with all celebrities all the time. Like, this is...
So do you really think in order for them to get to the top, they have to do something really bad? Well, I think that's true because our friend that we know who was in Hollywood lightly, she was asked to do some things.
Exactly.
She was on X Factor. We could say that.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah,
or
that's
like
fine.
A singing show. Yeah.
She was on X Factor. And she was making it pretty far. And then one of the judges put her in a predicament. And she was like, I don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down that road.
No. So, yeah, I do think. I think 90%. I mean, maybe there's like the fluke that doesn't, but I feel like the majority. And the majority of people are doing all the things that Diddy's doing, especially the music industry. I've heard specifically is very dark and weird.
Yeah. Well, I think all of it has to be.
Yeah.
So, speaking of.
So, we're not going to be famous?
No, we're fine with it. We just, hopefully that we have like 10 listeners and we're good.
Yeah.
10,000 would be fine. But like a million would be too many. Too many jerkies.
I think 1 million would be fine. Maybe not 10 million.
So Tisha's always wanted to be famous. We're going to get to that later in the episode.
Okay.
But it feels like it's at the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
So Tisha, we were talking about it today.
Well,
and we've been talking about relationships a lot, as always. And we were talking about your first boyfriend.
Yeah.
Let's call him Vaughn.
Yeah.
And how they started dating and all the things. And then she went to college. She went to college with me for a year, only a year. NAU,
and then I went to ASU.
Then she went to ASU and she was still with her high school boyfriend. And then she decided to do what, Tish?
To move to California.
For what?
Well, because I wanted to go to, had a dream.
Tell the truth.
Yeah,
You're already starting to lie. You're already starting to lie. Tell the truth. They already know. It was on last season. Because we had I don't think we told.
It was.
But we had the ice chest story, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live was my dream.
Okay.
That was like that
So you got the
dream.
headshots to be on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I did get the headshots. I forgot about that. I was like, where are those? I don't even remember.
So Tisha got headshots.
I got headshots.
She was moving to LA to be famous, which was awesome.
I wanted to go to the Groundlings Improv
Yes, I remember
Comedy
that.
School.
Yes.
That was the school that everyone went to that went to Saturday Night Live. I guess I'm not that funny, but you said I'm the funniest person you know.
Oh, I think you're so funny.
I know.
And I'm not even just saying that because you're my friend.
I think I'm funny too.
I think everybody thinks you're funny.
Yeah.
I do.
I feel
Or maybe I'm just the friend that's like, you've got it.
Well, I feel like I need to show it more, but I don't know how to do that. Because I feel like most people think I'm a bitch. Not funny. You do give that vibe in the beginning. Yeah.
It's weird. We're like opposites. Like people think you're that word you just said, and then they get to know you and they're like, she's so nice. Yeah. And then everyone thinks I'm so nice. And then when they get to know me, I'm really nice. Like more like strong personality.
Yeah.
And I'm not that easygoing after all.
Yeah.
It's like a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now if you listen to the podcast and you're a jerky, you're like, I love Tisha. Well, I was funny because we got to get back to the Hollywood story. But
I'm so glad we made this because now more people like me.
Oh, so many more people like me. And I think they're like, I thought you were a good Christian girl and now you're kissing your friends and doing weird things. I didn't do that.
It was a peck.
Yeah, and it was nothing. I didn't even do that.
It wasn't. It was like a...
But now I lost my train of thought. But Tisha... is
funny.
Nice. I was listening. Funny. So we have been recording and I was listening to last week's episode this week driving. And Tisha makes fun of me because I'm always like, it's so relatable. And she's
like, hey, I listen to the podcast. It's so funny. And I just really relate to it. I'm all, you relate to your own stories? Like, no shit. Stupid. She's like, I said this thing and it's so relatable. And I'm all, I hope you relate to your own life.
Well, when I'm listening, I don't really feel like it's me. And I actually side with you. So I was listening, and I wanted to tell myself, shut up, let her talk. Like, I wanted to hear what you had to say, because I didn't agree with me. So, like, I'm one of those listeners that's on Tisha's team.
You even like me more.
Yeah, I do like you more. And I was like, listening, I was like, shut up, let her talk. I want to hear her point.
No, but I was just telling.
I am Team Tisha.
I was just telling Crystal, when I'm telling a story, I'm like all excited for my big story. I've been playing it in my head. And then I'm all, this is my moment. And then I'm like mid-story and I look over and she's all on her phone. And I'm like, and it ruins my mojo because I feel like I'm like, oh, all deflated. I guess it's not that funny.
Well, I think you can do anything if someone believes in you.
But I think what makes me more funny is you like
I think you're so funny.
You know?
Yeah, I think you're so funny. Okay, so Tisha moved to LA, and then you didn't end up going to Groundlings. You ended up going to where?
I'm sorry, are we going?
You have to tell the whole story.
Take a trip down memory lane because I'm ready to go. You know? Well, there's a few.
Come on.
No, I moved to LA, and then I was looking for a job, and my roommate, who I just met here, and we moved together, which is so weird. But yeah. I actually thought of her the other day. Do you remember her last name? Because I would like to look her up.
I don't even remember her name. I can't remember her name.
Her first name was Jessica. Jessica, if you're a jerky, call me. Anyways, she was like, oh, yeah, I used to work at Hooters. And I was like, oh, really? Well, there was a Hooters in like a nearby town, Pasadena. And so we were like, oh, let's go to Hooters. So we went to Hooters.
And that's back when
I had Hooters then.
Yeah. So
now they'd be like, move
Did you make
along.
good money at Hooters?
It was decent.
I honestly made such good money serving, more than like teaching.
What's good about serving is like you can work as hard as you want. Like it'd be like miraculous. I'd be like, I need to make $600 today
to pay the bills.
I would.
I know, it's crazy.
It's like not a lot of jobs you can like control that.
So you moved there for the life. You wanted to be famous. You wanted to go to Groundlings. You wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. What happened in your life like while you were there? Was it fulfilling?
No, it was not fulfilling.
What'd you do?
I worked at Hooters. I mean, I don't know many people that find that fulfilling. Like, I achieved everything, like, on my tombstone. Here lies Tisha, you know? So, no. We called it the Hoot, you know? That's an inside joke.
Okay.
For
anyways,
us
moving on.
alumni.
Yeah. So good thing you didn't run into like
No.
P. Diddy at a party.
No.
Tisha does have a friend that is friends with celebrities and has been telling us these stories for years.
I know. We mentioned him last week.
We did?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, if Brittany keeps acting like this, she's a goner.
Yeah.
And is she here or a clone? You'll have to listen to last week's episode to talk about that.
I'd feel like she's a clone.
Yeah, but I feel like it's sad. In Hollywood, they say, like, no one's really ever happy.
Duh. They're all on drugs.
I know, but you still chase money thinking you're going to be happy.
Me? Totally. I know. I hate when people are like, money doesn't buy happiness. I'm like, yeah, you know? I'm like, you know? Yeah. Anyways.
No, I know. I don't know.
You can have money and be unhappy.
Right.
But you can be money and be happy. Talk about happiness, because we were just talking about church.
I know. I was trying to wait for it, but I went to church last night. And in the beginning of the episode, they talked about, what was the whole thing about happiness? And they talked about on a scale from 1 to 10.
Sermon. Yeah.
The Sermon on the Mountain. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? And he like gave us a minute.
Because it's
so
like,
let's give our listeners a minute.
Jesus gave us like a guide to finding true happiness and fulfillment. And well, he does in that sermon. So they're going to break it down over the next like whatever many weeks, which I really actually like that.
Yeah. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how happy are you? Let's take a minute. Everybody think about it. Jet, you too.
On a scale from 1 to 10,
how happy are you after what happened this weekend? So, Tisha, I asked her today driving, how happy are you? Not trying to boast your happiness, but you had a pretty high number.
Yeah.
It was a 12.
No, I'm an 87. I really am a 10, though.
Yeah, I was like a 9 or a 10, too, which was funny.
Of course, there's moments throughout the day that I'm unhappy, but, like, everyone in my family's healthy. I'm healthy. We have a great life. I'm like happily married. My kids are all alive and well. So I feel like there's really no problem.
Yeah. And he was saying that in America, we're like the freest country that has the ability, like the most money, like most people's, he was saying $50,000 in any other country, you would be in the top 10% of wealth in America.
You are. If you make over 50,000, you're in the top like 10% of the world.
But then he said on the happiness scale, what was it?
It's like the lowest.
Yeah. But I think that's like society.
Among like young teens.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Well, and we've offended some people in our podcast before, so we do have to edit certain stories, but it is like in a generation growing of like, how do you get happy? We've talked about this before in the past, but my parents didn't really worry if I was happy. It wasn't like a concern of theirs. They could care less if I was happy.
Yeah.
I was super weird. I had a mullet and I really like to eat food in the cupboards. So those were the things they were more concerned about. Like, is her hair going to grow out?
Yeah.
Is she ever going to stop eating? Those were things.
Well, my mom was like getting married for the 5th time. And I was like, if you marry him, I'm not coming to the wedding. And she was like, okay, bye. And then I was all at the wedding, like, son of a, you know?
I used to be like, that's it. I'm going to off myself. I'm going to hold my breath. You better hold it.
Have you seen those things where they're like, did you play dead in the pool to get attention? And I totally did. I was all like,
floating.
I'm all, any minute now, they're going to run out here. No one ever came. And I'm all right. Well,
I did do that.
Yeah, no.
That's so weird.
That's like our generation. No one cared. And you just were going, you know?
Yeah.
But
and I would try to.
That's actually the best thing anyone ever did for me.
100%. I was packing once. I was done with them. And I was like, that's it. I'm running away. And my dad's like, you're going to need this. Putting it in the bag.
He's on toothbrush.
You'll need a blanket. It's cold out there. And then I was like, Dad, I'm serious. And he's like, all right, don't forget a sweatshirt for those cold nights. So I packed up, and you know when you're raging, I was like, this is it. And I leave, and I go outside, and then they lock the door behind me. So then I go outside, and it was like 8:30, which is pretty late back then. So I'd go sit out on the curb, and I was like, it was getting dark, and there was these weird cars driving by. And so I was like, well, they're going to come look in here any minute, and I'm going to hide. And it's like getting colder, and no one's coming. So then there was a really weird car that kept circling. So I went back to the door, and I'm banging on the door, and my dad comes to behind the door, and he said, I thought you ran away. I was like, Dad, can you let me in? There's a road car out here. Come on, I'm sorry. And he's like, no. You said you were gonna go find another home. Go find the other home. We're going to bed.
So funny.
And I sat out there for like 30 minutes crying hysterically, begging him to let me in. I was so scared. And he was like, if you move away again, you're not coming back in.
Yeah.
And I never did it again.
Yeah.
But
that was smart.
They were really good with that stuff.
Yeah.
My manipulations did not work.
Yeah.
Like I would try all the things and they didn't. My dad, he's like, okay.
One time Ken was getting in the shower. We were fighting and she was getting, oh no, I think I dunked her head. That's why the shower. I dunked her head in the toilet. So then she got in the shower to rinse it off because she was spouting off to me. So I give her a swirly. And so she was like, I hate you. And I'm moving. She said, I'm going to call CPS on you. And I was like, call them. Because the family that you're going with, they're not taking you to Lululemon. Like you're going to hate it, you know? Like it sucks there, you know? They're not taking you to Sephora, you know, for the third time this week. And then she was like, oh, well,
third time.
No, not 3 times.
That sounds awful, Tish.
I don't do that. I don't take her to Sephora 3 times.
But I think when you're raising, I was talking to a mom this morning. We were walking early and she was talking about her, you know, her son starting high school and things are getting harder. And like, there's moments like.
Who was saying this? A friend?
Yes.
I didn't know who you were talking about. I'm clearing things up for our listeners.
A friend of mine said her son started high school and it's been like hard watching him like kind of find himself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know like for you, but my daughter gets home, she goes in her room, doesn't really want to talk sometimes. And it's like, do I go in there? Do I leave her? You know, and like we make decisions where we say yes to some things, no to other things. And it's hard because they're mad or they're unhappy or kids have anxiety and stuff like that. And I'm not quoting it. Anxiety is a real thing. But I think what's interesting is sometimes when kids do have those things and we still let them have their phones and this and that, that kind of like stimulates the anxiety. Yeah. Like even for me as an adult, like watching Instagram and Facebook, I kind of was in a habit where it was like something I was really doing a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I did 75 hard, when I was working out twice a day, my days were so busy because I would like work out, do other things, work out, and then I was dead tired. Mm-hmm. So I started sleeping with my phone in my bathroom. Here's the throat thing. It sounds super weird, but I can't tell you how much better I sleep. Like as soon as it gets like 8:30, I'm like, I'm done looking at this thing and I plug it in. And like Kyle and I do watch shows more now. We talk more at night. And
so
it's
do you feel like you should do that for your kids?
No, I feel like they got to learn. No, I actually do feel like I should do it for my kids, but I haven't done it yet. And it might be a good idea. But the thing is, Kyle's told me that forever, that I should put my phone away. I shouldn't do it. And I wouldn't ever like, I'm such a let reality be the teacher person that I almost think I go too far that way. Like let them figure that out or let them learn that lesson, but they're not going to learn that lesson because they're kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if I take it away, I think it makes it more forbidden of like, oh, I just want my phone. I just want my phone. Whereas like sometimes I know Maddie's gone to bed late and she's dead the next day and then the next night she goes to bed super early. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you're learning. Like it sucks. But I don't know. That's a good question. I could do that for them.
Because I've taken Ken's stuff away and she admits to me that it's better.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I've also taken it away from CJ and he's like, no, not at all. And I'm all, okay, you're like way happier, but you know.
I know, do you think that's a normal thing then to just take it away for a period of time or is it a punishment or like, I don't know, how do you spin that?
Well, I think it's not, I explain it like it's not a punishment. I can see the change I can see how it's affecting you. Yeah. So we're going to take a little break.
See, it's hard for me.
And it's not necessarily a punishment, like you can't touch it, but I'm like, you need to go put it up and you're done for the night.
Yeah, and learn that break.
And learn to take that break and then she'll be like, literally like an hour later, she'll be like, I think I was grouchy because of my phone. Like she'll say that to me. Mm-hmm. She admits it though, but I don't think CJ would ever admit that. See,
I feel like I try to keep them so, and maybe this isn't healthy either, so busy that the time they're able to be on their phone is so minimal. You were with me all day. Did this ever happen to my voice?
No.
I don't know, but I don't know if that's always right because it is a toxic thing.
Well, and it's good to learn to be it's okay to be unbusy too, you know?
Is this a lecture just for me
today?
No. Oh my gosh. I agree. And that I always ran busy and I still run busy.
Right. Learn to be alone with your thoughts.
Yes.
And
that's not easy for me.
You know?
Yeah. So you're still telling me about your 12 happiness. My point is though.
What was your happiness scale?
My happiness scale was 9 or 10.
Yeah.
But I honestly could have said that a year ago, it would have been a very different number. Like 6 months ago, it would have been a very different number. I feel like after my dad, I know, here we go. She says, the podcast got so boring at the end of last season because all you did is cry about your dad. Who says that to someone?
I didn't mean it like
whose
that.
Whose father passes away.
I loved your dad like he was my dad, and I'm sad about him too. So
tell the listeners, you did tell me that.
What I meant was,
you're lying.
it was like a heavier time. And then I felt weird
being funny
or like I wasn't able to be funny. I felt, and not like our podcast is just about being funny, but it was like, I don't know. I just felt like
heavy.
It was just a different vibe. And I don't always, we know I'm the Tin Man. I don't always react good when people are going through a hard time. I'm not the most like empathetic.
I know. I'm surprised we survived that. Me and you.
I know. I feel like I was really nice though.
Really?
You don't?
Nice.
I'm just not good at sitting in the moment.
Yes, that's what it is. Like you were nice, but like at times maybe it would have been nice if you're like, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Because
I showed up on Father's Day.
Yeah, that day you did. But like on a random day, that was like a hard thing. Like after, because it's like, okay, he passed. Okay, we had the funeral. Okay. So it's like everybody else starts moving on and you're like,
not moving on.
I'm trying to move on, but I can't move on.
Yeah.
And it's weird that life is just different to me now.
Yeah.
It's horrible for work. Yeah. We've been talking about it. The market's not our favorite right now. And things are a little harder. And, I was quitting a few times. I mean, God only knows when I'm really going to do it. But it's weird. Like, I know our friend went through a really hard time. And she lost her husband. And suddenly, and for years, she said she just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, when you look back, it's not a gift because you're going through so much pain, but it's a gift that you see life so clearly.
Yeah, like what matters.
Like when you're going through real hard, you're like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. I remember even still, I have that where I'm like, this is stupid. I can't care. And maybe because my aunt's going through it right now too. So it's like so clear that life is so short that I'm like, you know what? If you don't want to drop the price of your house to sell it, then don't.
Yeah.
It's weird. I like can't care. And I need to care about certain things and I can't. But I care about like bigger things, eternal things, like bigger things, but I can't care about the things that I normally cared about. I don't know, it's just weird. So a year ago though, when I was stuck in the mess of, not stuck in the mess of my life, but I think I was doing a lot of things for maybe other people, or I was like so consumed with like taking care of everyone or doing what I thought I should. I grew up very like, I always wanted to, my parents were strict, but laid back, but I always wanted to impress them. It was very innate for me. I don't know if it's because I respected them and loved them so much, but I really wanted to please. And I said this back when, but maybe there's an element of like, now that my dad's not here, maybe I'm not putting so much pressure on myself to be, I don't know, not to make him proud because I know I am, but like now that he's passed, maybe the proud is a different testimony.
Right.
I don't know. This is getting deep for, for
Tuesday.
We didn't even talk about this ever. I don't know where this came from, but I don't know. Life's just different. So my happiness scale, yes. I made some choices where I stopped doing everything that everybody else wanted me to because I was falling apart and I was like exhausted. And now I'm like, wow, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always things you could change, but I think when you focus more on things that like challenges make me happy, which sounds stupid, but Kyle used to work for his family company, which you guys have heard about if you've listened to us for a while. And then he decided to walk away and start his own business. And there was always a difference in Kyle and I in like a confidence thing. My parents didn't really help me with a lot. They kind of would be the type of parents, well, when I was bad when I was little, they used to tell me they were going to drop me off at juvie. And that was awkward. So one time I remember my mom's like...
We've driven our kids there.
No, my mom's like, get out of the car. And I was like, hold on, please, mom. Please, mom. And she was like, go stand by that tree. And there was this trucker there with the big semi. And he was like sitting out there. And I was like, I'm not going there. And my mom's like, go stand with that guy. He's going to take you.
To juvie?
No, he was going to kidnap me.
But like you were at juvie?
No, we were at a park.
Oh.
She was going to leave me at a park with the trucker.
Yeah.
And he was going to take me, like that book we read, where he has the girl,
Yeah.
And I was scared to death. And I was like, Mom, no, please don't leave me. And then one time they left me at Dairy Queen. I was probably so excited to be there. I was like, another sample? And they left. It was like my birthday. And they left. Like I'm sitting there and my whole family's gone. And like a half an hour later, they came back and they're like, sorry, we just forgot you. It was so sad.
Like on purpose?
No, that one was on accident.
One time we were at Buffalo Exchange and me and my mom got in a fight and I was like, I'm walking home and I'm on like 7th Street in Glendale walking and then I see her car drive by and I'm all, like I was all, any minute she's gonna come chasing after me and I'm like on Glendale, like, and I look so small. I know. Like I'm surprised I didn't get kidnapped. And then I see the car go and I'm all,
Did she come back?
I don't remember. I just remember seeing the car go, well, clearly I'm here, I'm all, no, but the family that's been raising me for the last 30 years is so nice. No, but.
Oh my gosh.
No one fed into the tantrums.
Again, our parents didn't care if we were happy.
No.
But my parents did challenge me a ton.
Yeah.
Like when I joined cross country, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I was like a big girl and it was a lot of running and I learned how to like battle through. So yeah, but I had that and Kyle didn't really have that. Like his parents were tough, but they didn't let him struggle. Like, because that's how you get strong is through the struggle. But I know like even now it's hard with our own kids. Like you just want to help.
Yes, I don't feel like our kids struggle. Like both of ours. Like really, in general.
I feel like there's been struggles. Like there, maybe not that you know of, but there's times where I'm like, this is hard and they're going to be okay. Like for example, when Hudson made the different team last year, I felt like you were almost more mad about it than I was at times, remember?
Yeah.
You're like, do something because the carpool. And I was like, no, she's fine. And it was like months of like crying and feeling left out and this and that. I mean, it wasn't like she was on the street, but like, different. It wasn't like I really...
I guess hard for them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's totally things. Yeah. And like, let's say playing time. That's the thing Kyle and I discuss all the time with Broxton. You know, like playing time. He'll be more offended by it than I am. I'm like, let him sit the bench. He'll learn. He'll grow. Let him battle. Let them talk about him. Right. Let him say that he's not giving his all.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Like, but we want to move teams to make sure our kids get playing time. And move teams so that like, crazy. No, let him battle. Let him be uncomfortable. Yeah. Let him be upset. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I feel like they have. Maddie didn't like me for 6 months last year.
Maybe I'm just all, well, that's not really a struggle, but it is, I guess, in their mind. You know?
What do you think they're going to do? Worry about paying bills at this age?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are big struggles at the time. Yeah, I feel like they do. I feel like, you know, but maybe you just rescue yours all the time and that's why they don't struggle.
That's so stupid. No.
No, I don't know. I just think it's encouraging.
I feel like the life they lead is pretty...
Well, I think because compared to what you...
Yeah, that's what I'm maybe thinking of, a struggle of like a real struggle, not like the struggles they're facing, which sounds bad.
It does sound bad.
North Peoria struggle.
Yeah, but like you can't measure that off of other things. Like,
but I do think that's the difference in why some of the like people have all these problems when they're like made up problems, as opposed to. But
what do you do? Like not give your kid something? I mean, I know that's true.
I'm all
like,
but
yeah. So not go to Sephora 3 times.
I don't. I was joking.
No, but like in reality, there's not much that you say like hard nose to. Do you think?
But I don't think Ken is like unhappy. She's pretty happy, I feel like.
So what do you think makes her like that?
I don't know. Maybe because her mom's crazy. No, but like I'm just saying some of the people that are struggling, I don't know.
Well, I think there's internal things. They go to church, they do good things. I think like again, they're battling. I think the sport that they're in, they're very disciplined. They work very hard. I can tell such a difference in kids that have like even our cheerleaders like is the biggest deal that they ran a mile and a half last week.
Right.
Oh my gosh, they went and told the athletic director, we ran a mile and a half. I can't believe it. But they have been in such a good mood since.
Right.
And it's like if we don't give challenge, they'll create challenge. Right. And that's negative.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think there's not enough challenge, so they're making, you know.
Yeah, totally. Well, and I think that's what happens with celebrities is once they get everything handed and they have all the money and the power, then I think that's why P. Diddy got to the level he's at. Right. It was like, then it turned into inappropriate challenges.
Yeah.
Because it was like he craved something and he could have everything at his fingertips.
Right.
So then like, let's go after.
Well, that's why if you go to like a third world country and they're worrying about, like when you went to Guatemala, no one was worried about like if they were like having anxiety that day.
Totally.
Because they were like, where am I going to eat?
Totally.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my kids too. It was we went on a mission trip last summer. Went to Guatemala with an organization, Hope for Kids International, that we love. I grew up going on mission trips. I went on a few big ones growing up, so I really wanted my kids to see the world outside of themselves. Right. And we tell this story sometimes, but that's going to offend somebody. But
what?
I don't know. I think sometimes, like with everything going on in America, there was a day where we were driving down the street one day. And if this person's listening, I love you so much, but it's just a good story. And there was flags lining this whole row. And I drove and I was like, gosh, doesn't that make you like so proud? And she was like, no. And I was like, why not? She's like, when everyone's treated fairly, then I'll be proud of our country. And I was like, okay. And I sat there and I said, hey, have you ever been outside of the country? Just curious.
Right.
And she said, no. And I said, that's why you're not proud of that flag. Like when it's not about the politicians. I hate that the flag has become a side that you're on because so many people have done so much for the freedoms that we have. Right. And I think when you go to other countries, and I've been lucky enough to go on a few mission trips and see a lot of things outside of the country, you've been lucky enough to go on a lot of travel trips, but you've still seen other things. And you're going to go on a mission trip. You said you want to.
Yeah, but that's horrible.
Well, I know, but you still are seeing things.
No, like when you go to
Bahama
other countries.
Air showed you a lot.
I know that sounds really
I'm blushing.
Dumb.
I'm embarrassed.
I'm mortified. I sound like a spoiled idiot.
You're just yelling about your kids being spoiled.
I know, and now I'm like, oh God. No, I'm saying, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I gotta change.
Just go ahead. What'd you see on Bahama Air though?
No, but our flight.
We're laughing because she's worried about taking it again.
Our flight got canceled, and we had to take the local airline, and we were on an island, and
it was different.
The airport was a warehouse, and it was different, but we've been to Mexico. We've been to a lot of places where I feel like it's a different lifestyle than what my kids are living.
Yeah.
And they've seen. Like, they're like, oh, they're selling stuff on the side of the road. I'm like, yeah, to get money for their family. That's their life.
What's cool about when we were in Guatemala and for my kids, because they were thrilled to go.
Yeah.
They were not. Maddie was crying the first 2 days. I want to go home. Like, there was a few bugs in our hotel room, and it was just different. Like, and it was the nicest hotel in the city by far.
Yeah.
Because the organization we go with, they're really good about like taking care of the people that go there to serve. But she was so out of body with just like we were all sweating. There wasn't AC. Luckily, there was AC at our hotel. But the bus we were on, I might have told this story last season, but it's so funny. So we land in the airport. There's no AC in the airport. It is so hot. So we're waiting for customs, and we're just dripping. But it's weird how if I was in Arizona dripping, I would be so irate.
Right.
You know, I'd be like, this is ridiculous. It's so hot out. Like, we can control it. Right. But there, no one says a word. You don't even like complain that you're hot because everybody's hot. So then we go get the bags, and then we're waiting for the bus. And then their trucks there are like on the ground. And there's not a bed. It's just like a trailer flat. So we see the truck, and he's like, yeah, your luggage. And they had it already stacked up like 4 high with luggage. And we're like, well, where should we put our luggage? She's like, just throw it on. And I'm like, oh no, there's no bed. And so they stack it all the way up. So the bed of the truck is here, and now the luggage is above like the cab. And they're just about 12 bungees. The guys are out there sweating, putting the bungees on. And Kyle and I just looked at each other, and we're like, and the kids are like, Dad, are they taking our luggage like that? And we're like, yep. And they're like, get on the bus. So we get on this bus, and we don't know that it's everybody that we're going to be on a team with. The windows are all open. There was no AC, and everyone's just there. And we get on, and we sit down, and then they just start handing these bottles. They go, here, you'll need these. There's lice where we're going, so you just got to spray this so you don't get the lice. And Maddie looks at me like, what? Like when we had lice at the school, it was a whole deal.
And Maddie would, that's so not her.
Yeah, it was crazy. So then
I would have been beside myself about that.
We ride. It's so hot. They're like sweating in the bus. Everyone has their windows open. It's bumpy, no seatbelts. And then we get to Pizza Hut, which Kyle was pretty excited because out of the options that we were seeing, it looked like the Ruth Chris.
Yeah.
So we were excited. We get in there, we sit down, and Broxton just pukes all over the whole table. This is about an hour into our mission trip, but he was so hot and so sick.
Car sick, yeah.
Yeah. But we went and we saw the kids where we went to serve, and they came up and they were just hugging us, and our kids were so scared about the lice to begin. And then by the end,
they didn't care.
They were all over these kids. They didn't worry about themselves. They worried about others. And that whole trip, it wasn't like a Bahamas vacation,
right?
Which Tisha and I do take a lot of trips, and it might sound kind of annoying on here sometimes, but we both grew up where we didn't really take trips with our family.
Right.
So I think that's why those are so important to us. Like, I always saw other families going on trips, and I'd be like, I want to do that.
Me too.
And so I really that's so important to me now. But it was just as fulfilling and fun as if we were in the Hyatt,
right,
on the beach in the Dominican.
More, probably.
Yeah, it was. And our family, we all just got along. It wasn't like mine. Yeah. It wasn't like, it was just such a magical experience.
Yeah.
So again, I think that stuff feeds into happiness.
Yeah. I
think when you're serving others and thinking of others, it is more fulfilling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I know it's hard.
Work on that.
I struggle with how to have the kids be less spoiled. I don't know, because I feel like it's so hard with.
We live in a bubble. Yeah. We live in a bubble. We live in like North Peoria, which a lot of people, if you live in Arizona and you hear West Side, there's this, what is it called? Like stigma that it's different or get over there. That sounds rude, but that's the truth. Our friends have told us that.
I feel like that's like more Southwest, right?
When you say West Side, Peoria, when you say Peoria, that's why they throw the North in. Because,
true. Yeah, it's North Peoria.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, but it is the stigma. But where we live, I feel like it's a little bit
like
Stanford wife. Or what's
Pleasantville. Kind of, just very like,
Mm-hmm. And we're blessed because of it. There's a lot of like
families.
All the families are very involved. I feel like there's a lot of like religious people, stay-at-home moms. It's a little bit like Leave It to Beaver-ish.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. So I think we're like in a bubble sometimes where maybe we're tone deaf to other things.
Right.
Because our surroundings are so different.
All the kids' friends
in a good way.
I think I told the story, but for picture day, Ken was like, I need a new shirt for picture day, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, you don't. Like, I just bought you school clothes. Like, wear something you've already worn. And she was like, no. And so, of course, she talks me into going to get her a shirt for picture day. And then we saw, like, friends there getting the same shirt for picture day.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the norm, but it's, like, not okay.
Did you get a new shirt for picture day when you were little?
No.
Really?
No. Did you?
Yeah, but my mom put me in these ruffle things. I had the bangs up like this. I was like her dress-up doll in a weird way. Like John Bonet, but who ate too much. She was
John Benet.
So bad.
John Beignet, like beignets. Beignets.
Well, and then they made me
edit that out. That wasn't a funny joke.
I think it was fine.
Oh, really?
Who cares? I don't even know what it. Yeah, it's fine. Jet sad. No, but my parents. I kind of think I was like. Now we're having an epiphany that like I was the butt of their jokes. Like, I think my mom and dad were like, this is funny. Let's have her do this.
We're bored. Let's ruin our life.
So there was this thing called the Gong Show. Do you remember the Gong Show? Oh, no. My church friends will just die. So it's where, like, it used to be like a show on TV, and if someone was bad, they would gong them. And that means they were out. So instead of, like, X Factor, there would be, like, Axe. Yeah, and there's a big, like, gong.
So they were just, like, living their life, and you'd gong them?
No. It was Axe, like a talent.
Oh, like trying out.
Yeah. So you would try out, and then if it was getting bad, they would just boom, like gong you.
Your family would gong you?
No. Will you just let me tell the story? So at church, they had a gong show for New Year's Eve. So it was a big show, and we had a lot of talent at our church back then. Everybody was like singers and dancers and all this stuff. And I think my mom and dad were like, let's have her do it. And I'm not a singer. My friends that knew me then, they talk about this story all the time. And they were like, let's have her sing. And I was like, Mom, but I don't really sing. You're a good singer. And they always told me I could do anything. So she's like, you're a good singer. And I was like, really? And my dad's like, yeah, you're the best. And I was like, okay. So they gave me like the big bow and the poof hair. And so it's like our church was huge. Like, CCOJ was like the biggest church in the valley. So it's like this huge like thing. So my parents were like, just sing this song. And so they'd have me practice every night, Grown Up Christmas List. Oh my gosh, like Melissa and Natalie, oh my gosh, if they hear this. So my brother would like play it and make fun of me, and he'd be laughing. And now that I'm thinking about it, my parents were laughing too. So they'd be singing. So I get on stage, and it's like the big thing. There's judges, and it's like this huge thing. So I'm singing dead serious. Like my parents told me I was a good singer, and I believed them. So I'm like, this is it. I'm going to be the champion. I'm like picturing the trophy. And so I'm like, it's like, ding, like, you know how the like music, like it starts and you're supposed to start singing. And I was like frozen. And it was like, you know, when it's playing, and it's when you used to play the music, you'd buy the version without the singing.
Yeah.
So you could sing over it. So the music's playing, and I'm just standing there because I got so nervous. And then they're like, honey, it's your turn. So I was like, okay, can you start over, please? And it's just me and a mic, just like this. And so it's like, ding. And I was like, this is my grown up. Like, and it's Amy Grant. So I'm like singing it, and you know when someone's really trying how their voice like shakes?
Yeah.
I was like, this is my grown up, you know, like Christmas, you know,
like,
you know, and sure enough, bong. And I was like 6, and like those jerks like gonged me. And I was like, my mom said I'm the best singer there is. And so they're gonging me, and I didn't know what it meant because my mom didn't tell me. She just told me I'm a good singer. I'm going to win this show. So I keep singing, lit.
Gonging you more? Like getting, boo, throwing things at you. Banana peels.
So the people had to come and like, man, honey, you're all done. You're all done. Oh my gosh.
I'm
and then
crying.
it was so mortifying.
Story.
Oh, ask, you got to call. We'll call Melissa on the way home. She still was like, grown up. And I think my parents were up there like,
yeah, like drawlets.
Yeah, but I really believed I could do it. It's just like,
but I think
crying.
that's why it's so good they made you do stuff, because I feel like they probably wanted you to like learn to try new things and not be scared to
I didn't
put
have any
yourself
friends.
out there.
I didn't have any
And
friends.
I feel like you're good at that, putting yourself out there.
Yeah, because my parents.
They made you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's a good lesson.
Yeah, I was like a loner that ate a lot in the room by themselves. Yeah. But now I'm not like that. Anyways, so challenge. So my parents gave me challenge.
Yeah.
And they didn't feel bad for me. When I was up there getting gonged, they were in the front like, you would think they'd be like, go. But they're like, you're doing great. And then my whole family makes fun of it.
No, I don't feel like my parents ever felt bad for me either. I'm like, why do I always feel bad for my kids, you know?
I know.
It's weird.
I think you're just connected differently. You feel really bad for your dogs. Oh my gosh, she spent $800 yesterday taking the dog in. It was so dumb. You wouldn't even take your kids in.
I know.
You barely take your kids in.
I barely took Fox last week. He's puking in the car.
And 104 fever, but you take those poopies in. The poopies is a stupid name. I can't wait for us to post this.
I worried he ate a Lego. It's like, damn.
I know, but if Fox ate a Lego, you'd be like, you're fine.
I know, I'm all checking his poop, you know?
Yeah.
No, but
they're
fine. The poopies are fine.
Did you have anything else to talk about today?
No.
Let's see. We were going to talk about.
I did want to talk about, though, like how to make our kids less spoiled. And it's hard because I'm like, I feel like I need to hear a podcast about that, you know? Well,
yeah, maybe like, somebody could give us one.
So, like, for CJ, he's going to be driving. Okay. He gets his license on Saturday. So,
Her oldest.
My oldest, he's 16. Great kid. Such a good boy. Super proud of him.
You don't call him a good boy.
Yeah, I do.
He's 16.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Wait, like do you really talk to him like that?
Like the poopies.
Please don't tell me you talk to him like that.
No, I say you're a good boy.
To CJ. Wait, talk like that to your CJ.
Time out. That move. Oh, we need to talk about that one show, because you know when she kisses her son on the lips and then he's like trying to move his lips, like
you kiss CJ on the lips?
I would kiss all my kids on the lips forever until they're dead. That's so normal, and
it is not normal.
It is normal.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Like it is normal. I want to take a poll. I wish we could take a poll.
We will take a poll when this posts.
I would kiss him because I love
him. Like?
No, you sick? No, but anyways, so CJ, the good boy. No, he's getting his license
Do you
Saturday.
talk to him like this?
So we are giving him Ben's truck that Ben has had for 10 years. It's a 2014 Tundra. It's paid off. Ben's been the original owner, so it's always been taken care of, has 200,000 miles. So we felt like we were like giving him this really nice truck, right? Like it's so nice. It's like got a lift. It's got nice tires.
Oh, I think it's so nice.
Ben's been driving it. Like he's a established 40-something-year-old. Like it's a good truck. So we're like, yeah, we're like so nice parents giving him this like nice car. Like,
I totally agree.
He is like
making it.
He is making it. He's got the nicest truck at Liberty.
Yeah, and then he's gonna have girls in there.
Yeah, like hose in the back of that truck. No, God, no, that's horrible. No, anyways, but then so I'm driving him and his friend to football carpooling, and we're talking about like the cars at school, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have such a nice truck, you know? And then they're like, yeah, like the truck's not that nice, and I'm like,
who said that?
The boys. They were like, not in a weird way. CJ was like, yeah, it's nice. But they're like, I'm like, kids have nicer trucks than that at your school? They're like, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, what? He's like, and I'm driving like a nice Suburban. It's like nice. And CJ's like, yeah, my friend has this car. I'm like, what? Like, it's his car? He's like, yeah. He's like, they all have like nice cars. And so that's where I feel like it's hard in our
bubble.
Yeah, because I'm feeling like we're giving him this thing, and he's kind of thinking like he's getting a hand-me-down. It's weird, like the car I got when I was that age. I mean, my dad bought me a nice car, but it wasn't what CJ's getting. So it's just weird how I'm thinking we're like so the best parents ever, giving him this nice truck, and then he's kind of like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the school we went to, I mean, no one in the planet had a truck like that.
No.
But we were all happy.
That's what I'm saying.
our friend Caitlin got her license first,
but I think
and
if
we
I
all
went and
jumped
bought
in.
him a crappy thing, like, do you think he'd be happier? Like, I don't know what to do, is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think there's anything to do there. I think that's the truck you've decided he's getting. It works for your family. I think that's something he has to learn. And that's something we still battle with.
Right.
I got a lecture last night at church when we went about happiness and about what we're chasing. Because I keep feeling this innate thing to stop working so much. But I'm worried about paying up for all the things and the trips and the bills and the cars and the houses. And it's like, maybe God's trying to tell me that's not what my calling is.
Right.
You know, and maybe like CJ will have a journey where he goes, what I was talking to my friend about this morning is she was talking about raising her kids. And I said, sometimes we have to remember that God's going to join us halfway.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be situations in life that he's going to have to figure these lessons out. They're not going to be like Kyle's family, they all got, once they graduated, they got good grades, they got scholarships, they got to pick whatever car they wanted.
Yeah.
Whatever car they wanted, and it was to the nines. They got to put wheels and tires.
Once
and
they graduated and got scholarships.
Yeah, but like, they got a car to drive when they were 16.
Right.
2 years later, they get to pick the nicest. Their cars are so nice.
Right.
But I would not say that Kyle and his family are entitled at all.
No.
Like, they were raised very humbly.
And they're hard workers.
They're such hard workers.
Yeah.
So just because they had this thing didn't mean that.
But do you think if they would have gotten it right when they turned 16,
I don't think it would have mattered.
and not had to work hard for it, it would have been different?
No, I think the way Bonnie lives, it's like they don't. Bonnie is my mother-in-law. She also very much instills like work ethic.
Yeah.
You don't like Bonnie and Lance, my mother and father-in-law.
They still make good choices and stuff. Yeah.
And they're all so smart with their money. They're all like very conservative. And I grew up with nothing, so I want to like just spend it because like we never had anything.
Right.
So I'm like, let's go on a trip or let's buy them this. Like I never got soda at dinner. It was like something I always wanted. It was like water. And we didn't go out to dinner a lot. So I think I go out to dinner a lot because I never got to go. And I saw all these families going to dinner and we were getting like Lenny's burger, which was really good.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's so good. Or like McDonald's, you know, we did that. But I don't know. I think it's like the values. Like even my nephew and niece, my brother does well. And they are very blessed. And that's what my brother always says. We're very blessed. But he also very much instills in them the ability to give. They also have been on mission trips. They also like, they would give literally everything in their pocket to someone else more than take it for
really
themselves.
Hard.
Yeah. And so like a lot of people say, oh my gosh, like my nephew got a G-Wagon, fully matte black when he was 16. But like my brother's also watching him.
He's a great kid.
Yeah. And I don't think that he's,
entitled.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
and I feel like
I don't get that vibe from him at all.
either. I don't. And I
He's
don't
like
think
the
my nieces
best.
either.
Yeah.
They literally would do anything for anyone.
Your niece is like so giving. She's always
Yes.
buying my kids stuff. I'm like, quit taking stuff, you know?
Yeah. But because he did this, the yin and the yang. He gave them things, but he also showed them the art of giving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So it's like the giving counteracts.
Yeah, and he also watches them battle. Like my nephew moved to college 2 weeks. Wait, he left the day after my dad's funeral. And my dad and my nephew were best friends.
Yeah.
So, and they lived with my brother in the house. They had their own separate part of the house, but they were so close. So not only did my nephew lose like his second dad, and everything just changed when my dad died. He goes off to college the next day, and it was so, so hard. Then like 2, 3, maybe a month later, his girlfriend of a year breaks up with him. Like it had to be gut-wrenching for my brother.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're fine. And I know he inside felt so bad for him. My brother was also in pain after losing my dad. Everything was a mess, and Jordan was gone. So not only did my brother lose his dad, his best friend, but his son, who's his second best friend. But my brother like watched him battle. He did not rescue him from the battle. He was like, you're fine. You've got this. And I'm sure he called him upset. And he was like, you're fine. Keep going, keep going. So I think there's so much to the battle, you know? And he had a room, and like Jordan never even stayed in a bad hotel before that. And then he's staying in this dorm with, there was all kinds of things going on. But my brother never like gave in. He's like, you're fine. But I know it was gut wrenching. So I think it's those moments where the battle is happening. And I've probably told this story before, but I always think about this, and I always give it to the parents of my teams. There's the cocoon where the butterfly, the caterpillar is in a cocoon, and this little girl walks by and sees this caterpillar struggling to get out of the cocoon. So she's watching it struggle, and she's feeling so bad. So then her instincts kick in, and she decides to go and like help crack the cocoon and open it so that the caterpillar can come out and be a butterfly and fly. So she just kind of barely helps break it open because she didn't want to see him struggle anymore. And sure enough, when the butterfly came out, it could never fly. it flopped all around and it couldn't get going. And she didn't understand why it couldn't fly. Mm-hmm. Well, what she didn't understand is that the caterpillar having to work at opening that cocoon, that's what made its wings and arms strong enough to be able to fly. And when she cut that battle short by rescuing it, the butterfly then this whole life could never fly because you cut the battle short. And I think so often we want to like save our kids. Like, oh, they're battling. Let me just switch teams. Yeah. Or let me just go get them the shirt. Or, you know, just let them have the phone. Or get them this Facebook. We all do that. I do that. Mm-hmm. But instead, what we need to remember is that struggle that God's putting them through or we're putting them through is what's going to give them the strength to fly. So, I mean, enough said. Don't buy her the new shirt next time. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that stuff matters as much as you think it does.
Yeah.
I think it's the real battles. I think like, I don't know, the whole school picked on me one day in 6th grade. My friend who tries to be my friend these days, and I really like her, but she was not the nicest to me in elementary school. One day she told all of 6th grade this horrible lie about something I did that I didn't. And I was in the corner of the playground and the whole 6th grade is yelling things at me, like throwing rocks at me. And I'm in this bigger 6th grader. Then I'm covered up and I'm crying hysterical. And my teacher calls my parents and they said I would move her schools. He was like one of the best teachers ever, Mr. Shoup. He said, I would move her schools. She's getting bullied so bad. I'm worried she might like
hurt herself.
Yes. Yeah. He's like, I've never seen bullying this bad. You got to get her out of here. And my parents are like, she's fine. So I go home and I'm like a wreck. You know, when your kid's emotional, I'm like crying. I'm like, Mom, I hate my life. And she's like, get ready. You're going to gymnastics. And I'm like, no, Mom, I just had the worst day ever. The whole school's laughing at me. Da-da-da-da-da. She's like, okay, so you're going to gymnastics. It's in 10 minutes. And I was like, Mom, can I just have one night where I can sit and just feel sorry? Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, you're not going to sit and feel sorry. The school yelled at you. Big deal. Get your leotard on. And it was hard to get the leotard on. Like, it was like hurt me. Like my dad, you know, like picking me up. So I get the leotard on and I go to gymnastics where they make fun of me too. What are you going to do? Sit on me? You know, all the things. But like that was such a big battle for me. I remember it always. That the day I wanted to give in the most was the day that my mom taught me to fight.
Yeah.
So I just think it's like those moments when we see them struggling the most that we have to like continue to fight. And taking it back, maybe that's what you were doing for me when I was struggling with my dad. Maybe you were like trying to be, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional, but like not saving me from the fight. Maybe it was a blessing that you were like, you're good, keep going.
Yeah.
Like you didn't sit and wallow with me. You were like, all right, we're okay.
I'm also, my kids are going to be great because I'm never wallowing with them.
But like you know what I mean? Like looking back, like we were working together and we were doing things together and maybe that wasn't the best thing.
Right.
For you to wallow with me.
Right.
Maybe it was you like helping me, you know, fly.
So you're welcome.
Yeah, basically. I hope you have friends that aren't emotional and don't care when you're suffering. I feel like it's a good stopping point.
Yeah, I feel like my kids are going to be great
then. Today I'm all, no dinner for you.
I know.
I'm all, sleep outside.
Oh.
Too much yelling. All right. Well, Chet's done with us. Welcome to Jerking Around, a podcast that makes you feel better about yourself because we're a mess, just like you.
And Crystal makes fun of me the whole time.
And it's great. And it's real.